Greetings everyone, Deb here from Slap Happy Sewing. Hi again. I haven't been around for a while, mainly because what have I been doing? I haven't done a whole lot of sewing. I've made one thing and done a little project on that, which I'll share with you in a minute. So what did I make? All I have made is this. Just show you. So this is an Ellie & Mac Breezy, and it's a bit of a saga, and I'm not sure what I think about it or not. Last weekend, because we'd come out of lockdown, my husband and I went to a place called Wanganui, and which is actually a real cool little town. It's very historic. It's on the coast. It has a great big river and lots of Victorian buildings. So we stayed in an old hotel there. And I wore that dress, but I wore it with a black cardigan when I felt quite comfortable with it. And it was good because, of course, then you've got 2 layers and I feel the cold a lot in the winter. But looking at it, I do think, if I put it up here, you'll see, I do find it maybe a little bit loud. Probably doesn't even look it on camera. The fabric... Dahlia Society, well of course she's in Australia and we have some of the same shops that they do, so she had made a lovely top out of it and I thought, oh, I like that. So I went and bought some, which is, as you know, if you know anything about the way that I sew, mostly I use charity shop fabrics, but I actually went out and bought this rayon spandex. Now I don't know a lot about fabric. Well, I looked at the pattern, decided that it probably wasn't going to be long enough in the bodice for me, so I lengthened it a bit, and then I'll put a picture up to show you what happens. Not only was it too long in the bodice, it was way too long in the sleeves as well. In fact, it's because the fabric's so stretchy, the whole thing just ended up really long. And although I had made the dress length, I hadn't bothered to lengthen it beyond that, thinking it will probably be above my knees and I can wear it as a tunic. Well, it was well and truly a dress. It is very much a dress. And I don't know, but I find that, I think it's probably my stuff, but I feel kind of a bit mumsy when I wear a big long dress. And then of course I don't really like tights, so I end up wearing leggings underneath. Nice and warm, don't get me wrong, that is nice and warm for our winter, but I'm not sure. It makes me feel a bit dowdy. What do you think? I think maybe what I thought I'd do is I'll leave the dress as it is. I'll see if I can find ways to wear it, and if not, I'll cut it off a bit and make it into more of a tunic. So that's the saga of the Ellie & Mac Breezy. And just talking about Ellie & Mac patterns, my goodness, I have bought so many Ellie & Mac patterns because they have this Wacky Wednesday thing where they have patterns for $1. Well, that's $1 US. It's a bit more than that for us. And over time, I'd actually bought a lot, and I realised that I ought to do something to see what I've got. I almost bought so many patterns I didn't really know what the heck it is I've got. And looking on my computer, I've got an awful lot of patterns there that I had downloaded. Small tip, if you get a free pattern or something, always download it if you can. Don't just save the link, because I had a few that I'd saved the links and the patterns were no longer there. So yeah, download them for yourself. But what I decided to do was, I've tried various ways of keeping my patterns, and I've tried it on Evernote, and Evernote is good. It backs up from my computer and it's good, but I just don't want to sit at a computer. I wanted something like a little book or something with all my patterns in. So this is what I did. I found this old diary that they'd given me at work, which I never used. And what I did was, I printed out, if I just show you, I printed out I've only got a black and white printer, but I basically have printed out a picture of each pattern and the line drawing, and somewhere along the line I'll try and write down how much fabric it needs. Now that works really well for me, and I've classified it according to like woven tops, woven dresses. I've even got hats in there, woven jackets, knit tops, knit dresses, leggings and joggers, skirts and trousers, and men at the back. So actually I've only just sort of, it took me a while to do this. This was definitely a bit of a project. A few times I've done this. If I'll show you, see here, what I've done is I took a photograph of a paper pattern that I had. I don't have many paper patterns, but what I did was take a photograph of each one, and I processed them with Snapfish, which is where you can get 50 free photographs processed a month. Well, they're not really free because you pay $4.95 for postage, but it's pretty cheap. So I managed to take a picture of all my paper patterns that way so that I can see them. I am finding that I have spent a lot of time just browsing through this book since I've made it. And because of the way that I buy fabrics, I think it works well for me, because instead of having to go to a computer and have a look, I can actually bring whatever fabric I've got home and then have a look through the book, because it's kind of ordered by fabrics. For example, I'll show you in a sec, I bought some jersey and I thought, I wonder if I could even make a jumpsuit of that. And I've got a little area in my book where I've collected all the jumpsuits. There's jumpsuits. So I've got there a bunch of jumpsuits. Actually, apart from the South Shore romper, which I bought for $1, all of the rest of the jumpsuits were free patterns. One is from the, I think it's Love Sewing Mag. There's the Celine and the Alejandra jumpsuit from Fabric Store. There's the Kira, which I think also might be from a sewing magazine. But quite an amazing array of jumpsuits. Probably going to need a bit of adjustment for me. I'm on the fence. I quite like the idea of having a jumpsuit, but yeah, not sure if it's going to show up the tummy a bit. But anyway, you know, it gave me a chance to just go to the jumpsuit place, have a look at the jumpsuits I've got, and sort of say, would it work with this one? Would it work with that one? Now, if I show you the fabric, I'm always buying fabric from charity shops. I go into, particularly for some reason, the Salvation Army seems to, it doesn't regularly get fabric and it's got a lot of rubbish. But if you pop in frequently, and I can pop in on my way to and from work, I find that I do find things, but they don't necessarily jump out at you as being this sort of, I buy a lot of plain fabric, but you know, that's not a bad thing for me because I do wear a lot of plain clothes. So here we are. Look at this one here. I've just washed this. You can see that. It's kind of got, it's got stretch. It's a jersey of some sort, but it's got a kind of suede finish. Rather nice in a chocolate brown. I think it might look quite nice on. And I got that for brown suede. There's 4.35 meters by 1.5 meters. I bought that for $10. I am thinking that I might make the South Shore romper, but I might make it as a full length jumpsuit with long sleeves for our winter. So yeah, not sure. I'm psyching myself up to do that. But for $10, I mean, I want to try and make a good job of it. So I'm going to have to do a bit of probably pattern Tetris to make sure that it fits me, being as I'm 5'8" tall and I've got a big bust. So I have to be careful to make sure that the waist is actually on my waist. But overly, yeah. And then I also bought this. At first glance, excuse me, at first glance, this fabric didn't seem too exciting, but it's jersey, so I've got a thing at the moment where I'm just really looking to see if I see anything in charity shop wise that's jersey or knits, because I've bought so many patterns from Ellie and Mac, and also downloaded free patterns. Have you noticed they're nearly always knits? Knit is the fabric that I have the most difficulty finding in charity shops. So this knit, I picked this up, and funny thing is, you would think that it would be that way, wouldn't you, with the rib up and down, but in fact the selvages go the other way, so the rib goes across ways. But because I've got my book, I can have a look at what I could do with it. So, oh, there's a heck of a lot of it there. So I paid $15 for it. I don't know if you can see that. And there's 1.5 meters by 5.7 meters. So I may be able to make some kind of a maxi dress. Now it's very kind of polyestery and plasticky, and I'm just like, But I wanted to just show you, I made this top, which is, gosh, what was it? It was a Love Notions top, and it's the same pattern as the one I've got on. I made them at the same time, and this, it was just like a scrap, and it's very similar kind of polyestery type material to this. It's got very little warmth in it, but since winter's come, I have worn this quite a bit because I wear it over another jumper. It's a good outer layer. So I'm thinking maybe I can use that same principle for this one. So I can go to my book and I can go, okay, what have I got? And knit dresses 107. And you know, I've got all of these different dresses in my book which I can look at and see which one. I haven't decided yet. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Another thing I've been thinking about is I have this little book, and in it, apart from other things, I've been writing my measurements down. Now, what's interesting is, because I've been doing it for a long time, for instance, in April 2017, I had a high bust of 43.25 and a full bust of 50.25. That's a difference of 7 inches. I had a 48-inch hip, a 42-inch waist, and a 49.5-inch tummy. As you can see, my tummy's bigger than my hips. That's because of this. That's because of this here. I've got quite a pronounced tummy. My measurements I'd just done. Remember that my high bust was 43.25. Well, my high bust is now 42. That's up here above your actual bust. My full bust is 48.5, so that's still 6.5 inches. So although I'd lost 1.25 inches off my high bust, my full bust is I've lost less off. So I've actually seemed to have lost more off my kind of, probably means I've lost more off my back, and that does kind of seem to fit, because I've noticed that I've had to take my bras in at the back. My waist, if you notice, was 42. It's 41.5, so it's hardly any different. My hip, which was 48, is now 46, but my tummy is 49, and it was 49.5. So the interesting thing is, the places where I keep most of my weight, which is my bust and my tummy, they're fairly unchanged. The measurements are a little bit smaller, but not much. But the rest of me has lost, I would say the rest of me has lost a bit of fat off me. It's interesting just how much fat would I have to lose in order to get my bust to be much smaller. Strange one, eh? Strange one. I don't weigh myself because I've struggled with my weight my whole life. I was actually quite a fat child even, and a fat teenager, and I've done a lot of crash dieting and so forth, and I just won't go there. I'm just not doing any of that struggle or suffering. But what I do want to do is exercise. I want to eat well, and you know, I do to some extent. and I have fall-offs, and sometimes I don't go out for my walk when I should, but overall I would say I have got a lot better. And but you can see it's interesting how it's not made that much difference. I don't know what difference it would make to my weight. I'm probably a few kilos lighter, that's all. So what else? Yeah, other than that, I've been making some curtains and yeah, doing some things to try and make our very big old 1920s drafty house a little less cold, because we don't have central heating here in New Zealand, and mostly it's okay, but the months of May, June, July and August we can get some really cold weather. In fact, I think it's going to be down to 2 degrees tonight, so that's when our house can be a bit on the cold side. So that's me. That's all I've got to tell you for today. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing. I think if you like my video, it helps YouTube to realise that I exist and share me out. Obviously, I know I'm not at all a professional video maker. I just make a sort of record of my sewing journey, but I really appreciate any comments you've got to make. I love to hear what you're making. I love to hear your thoughts and comments about anything that I've discussed in the video. So that, in fact, that's what keeps me going all the time. So please do comment, like, subscribe, and it's actually kind of a pity that this isn't more two-way. There's some lovely people I know who comment and talk to me after my videos, and I often think to myself, you know what, I wish I could hang out with these people, because I don't have sewing friends in real life. What a shame. And I wish this was more two-way. But anyway, the best we can do, I guess, is I'll make video, you can comment, you can give me your comments, and if you make videos or you've got anything like a blog or whatever, please let me know, because I'd love to follow you too. All right, so that's me for today. I suppose the sun's still shining. We've probably got about less than an hour of daylight, so I better get out for my walk. All right, nice to talk to you again. See you again soon.